All right, everyone, let's talk today about 3 tips to leveraging your human design to attract your dream clients who see your value and are ready to work with you and ready to go all in on themselves with you. So let's chat about a little bit about this. This is something that came up. I hear a lot about this with the clients that I talk to, other people in general, other entrepreneurs that I talk to as well. But I want to share with you a story about a client that I worked with. I'll call her Mel for this video or for this training. And she was creating content and booking clients, but she was not feeling satisfied in her business. So I don't know if you can relate to this, where things are working like on paper and on the outside looking in, everything looks like it's working. You're booking clients, you are, creating the content, and your business is running. So it looked successful on the outside. But she just wasn't feeling satisfied in her business. And so this client, she was a photographer and she had a busy family and she wanted just to create more time to travel. She wanted more freedom. Hey, Renee, I see you on here live. Thank you for joining me. So if you guys are hopping on live, #live. If you hop on the replay, #replay. So this client, Mel, she was a photographer and she just was looking for more of that freedom. She honestly, truly wanted this, not just the business that was quote unquote working on paper, but this business that was lighting her up, left her feeling satisfied at the end of the day, but also allowed her to have more of that freedom. She was super creative with her clients. She was always able to capture the most beautiful images in the work that she did with her clients in her images. And when we met, she was just super frustrated with not booking her ideal clients. So I said she was booking clients, but they weren't all her ideal clients. And so she was frustrated at that point. She was booking the clients, booking the consult calls, and she had been in business long enough to know who she wanted to work with and who she really wanted to pull into her business. So she was stuck like trying to consistently attract her dream clients, the ones who saw her value and were ready to invest in themselves, in their work with her. And so I don't know if you can relate to that too, where you've been in business long enough, you've got clients, you've been booking clients, you're booking the consult calls, you're booking the discovery calls. The clients are coming, but it's just you're at this point in business where it's like you want to almost up level the clientele that you're working with. And that's the frustrating piece, is when you're not working with those clients that are your dream ideal fit clients. And it's not any fault on the part of the client or you. It's just maybe that energetic match between you and that client, where just being a part of that client to provider or coach relationship, where you just are left feeling a little bit drained. And so this is something to kind of keep in mind, because yes, the business on the outside looks like it's running, it's operating, but really, truly, when you work on that next level and work on that next level of growth and calling in that next level of client, that's where it's time to make some of these tweaks and refine some things in your business that can help with that. So she was just stuck there. And then, so after her and I worked together through her human design, uncovering some core gifts, talents, and strengths that she had, which when you look and work with your human design, it helps you to uncover some of these key truths and gifts that you truly bring into the work that you do. Some of it you're aware of, some of it you're not quite aware of, but they're just innate strengths that you have, that you already possess. And we were able to work on ways that she could refine, how she could leverage those gifts and kind of infuse that into her marketing. And she noticed a shift immediately, both in just her confidence and being able to go out and create like more of the content that she was working on, the messaging, confidence with her marketing message, and then starting to see shifts in some of the clientele that she was starting to draw in and attract into her world. So that's just a little bit of a story of a client, that experience that I've had, but this is something that I know many of you also are struggling with too, whether you're a photographer like this client, whether you are a service provider, whether you are a coach. Really, truly calling in those ideal clients and starting to attract that next level of clients that you want to work with is another way of growth. It's not always about just focusing on the numbers growth, but it's also focusing on the energetic match that you become for that next level of the client that you're working with. So if we haven't yet met with, if you are completely new to my world, welcome once again to this training. So my name is Jen Dice. I am a physical therapist turned Pinterest marketing agency owner turned human design and marketing coach, and I empower women to step into their bigger purpose in their business, show up in their brand unapologetically, and make money in a way that fuels their soul. So welcome. Through the lens of human design, all of that is possible. So welcome again. So what are we talking about today? So we're talking about 3 tips or 3 ways you can leverage your human design to attract your dream clients who see your value. And so with this client, I'm going to throw out a few key takeaways, some questions I want you to ask yourself. These are some of the key questions that I asked this client and really helped us form and shift and refine her marketing and her messaging using her human design. So the first question I want you to ask yourself that I asked this client was, looking at your human design chart. And if you're completely new to human design, I will drop a link that goes with this training in the notes below, where you can grab a free guide that will help walk you through this, a free resource that will help you get started. And then when you're looking at your human design chart, what is your human design energy type is that first piece. But really, what does it mean to you to be that energy type? So from a human design perspective, there are 5 different types, human design types. This particular client was a generator. So when we look at generators for an energy type, when you input your information and you get your chart, it will tell you what your energy type is. So it's taking it that next step further and not just saying, okay, well, I'm a generator, so that means X, Y, Z. With this particular client, when we're diving into your business and how to really leverage your gifts and not just look at the chart itself and say, okay, this is what I am. Here's a couple of cool facts. Great. And then move on with your day. Taking it that next step and asking yourself, what does it mean to you to be that energy type, to be that generator, to be that manifesting generator, to be that projector? And this is important because when you understand what your energy type means to you, it helps you first dive into how you approach your messaging and how you create content. So when you are working on your content creation, and I'll give you an example with this specific client, when you're working on your content creation, there are all the systems out there. There are all the content creation templates and 30-day calendars and just sit and do it this specific way. And many of us will take that and we'll just do it because somebody said this is the way it works. And so we tend to create our content that way. But if you look at pieces of your human design, starting with the easiest, the top level of your energy type, and figure out what that means to you, you can then create your messaging for number 1 and the way that you go about creating your content in a way that works for you, but also allows you to tap more into your creativity. So the words that come out, that flow into your message, into your marketing, are coming from this place of who you are more authentically, or a more high frequency place from you, versus, well, somebody said I have to do it this way, so I have to batch and I have to sit down for 3 hours and try to just like force content out. Because when you look at your energy that you're putting into your content and how you can work with that, your human design energy type, to create content, and you kind of leverage where you are strongest in your creation process, you put out content that is more authentic to you, that is more, that will speak more to your authentic ideal client. And it comes from a place that allows you to tap more into your creativity. So what you're putting out onto social media, it's going to resonate a lot more because of the energy that you're putting behind it. It's not forced energy that you're putting out into the world, into the social media world. And so those are your true words. That's part of your authentic message. So that's the first thing to ask yourself is, what is your human design energy type? And then working at ways of what does it mean to you to be that generator, and how can you really start to apply that into your content creation? The second question to ask yourself is, what energy centers are defined and undefined in your chart? So when you're looking at your human design chart, all those little shapes, that you see, there's some squares and some triangles. Some of the triangles are upside down on that diagram. Wherever it is colored in on your chart is where you are defined, and that just means you have consistent access to the energy of those centers. And where it is blank or open or white is where you are undefined and where you're a little bit more open in your human design. So looking at where are you defined and where are you undefined in your chart. When you understand where you have consistent access to your energy, this is your energy. This is just how you are built to operate. These are these centers that you were designed to have. When you understand where you have consistent access and what energy centers you have consistent access to, and where you're more open, it helps with you developing your more brand pillars for your content. So this can help with some of the positioning and the content that you're creating for, some of the language and the words that you're pulling out into the content that you're putting out into social media. And it can create a consistent, energetic brand, a brand voice for your business if you can tap into those defined energy centers. And where you're more open, just a side note to where you're more open in your chart, that's where you're taking in more of the energy and the world around you. That's where you're more easily able to tap into the energy, the energetics of other people, and pick up and pull in more of what they're feeling, because potentially their thoughts are, what they're going through, what they're struggling with. And through your undefined centers is how you can tap into and create some of those calls to action in the marketing that you're putting out there. So these all you can all really kind of mix and match this a little bit in the content that you're creating and the messaging that you're creating to, again, really put out your authentic message that's going to draw in those ideal dream clients. And the third thing to ask yourself and to look at on your chart are, what are your profile lines? So if you look at your chart, at the very top of those squares in the diagram or on the picture side of your chart, there will be a couple of numbers at the top. There'll be a number, there'll be a decimal point, and then there'll be another number, and in a red box and a black box. And those numbers, and also in the summary, it will just list what your profile is. It's going to be a number. You'll either be a 2-5, a 3-5, a 1-5, a 6-2. So you'll look for those, like that fractional number. And when you look at this and dive into this part of your human design chart, this determines the role that you're here to play in the work that you do. And so this is really powerful in how you position yourself, because each number has an associated like role or identity that comes with that. So let's say if you have a number 1 in your profile somewhere, that's a line of authority. That's a line of you. And then how can you embody that line of authority in the words that you're putting out there, in the marketing that you're putting out there, in the messaging that you're putting out there? So that's just one example of how you can leverage that. But that profile of your human design can really help you with the voice, with the positioning and the role that you're playing and the people that you're serving. So then you're able to better call in the people that are looking for that person that is that authority. If you have like a 4 line in your profile, you embrace more of that network community aspect. And so people are looking more for that deeper, more intimate connection. So things like that. If you have the 3 line in your profile, again, this is another example where, you are highly relatable to other people, but you are the person that tends to, you really experiment with things, and people can sense that you have that experience of experimenting and testing and trialing and erroring things. They have that sense that you have been through it, you've already tested it and tried it, and you know the way. And that is kind of the positioning that you want to take on some of the content that you're creating when you're talking about like your offers and different things like that. So I hope that was helpful. Just to kind of recap, if you're looking at ways to tap into your human design, to leverage it to attract your dream clients into your business, number 1, look at your human design energy type and ask yourself not just what the type is and a couple of cool facts, but what does it mean to me to be that generator, to be that manifesting generator, that projector, that manifester, or that reflector? What does that mean to me? And how can I leverage the strengths of being the projector to create my content, to create my brand, my voice message, my messaging, and my marketing? How can I leverage that being this manifesting generator and the energy that I have as this manifesting generator to really hone in and draw in my ideal clients in the ways that I'm tapping into my own creativity to create content to put out there? Second thing to look at on your human design chart is, and ask yourself, what energy centers are defined and what centers are undefined, because this is going to help you hone in a little bit more on where you have more consistent access to energy based on your human design, and then how you can formulate that into brand pillars with the certain specific messaging that you're putting out there and calls to action, because where you're undefined is where you're picking up everything from the world around you, and you're able to filter it and understand it and feel it more than others. And the third thing to ask yourself and look in your chart is, what are your profile lines? What are the numbers? What do they mean? And how can you leverage that positioning? Because your profile is your role that you're here to play in the work that you're doing. So how can you step into that role a little bit more in the content that you're creating and that you're putting out there? So I hope this was helpful. I will drop a link to a free resource in the notes that come with this video. So go ahead and click on that. Go ahead and, if you have any questions, just hit reply to this training or hit reply to any email that I send you with that free guide, and I will be happy to answer those questions for you. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful, and I will catch you next time, next week. All right. Bye, everyone.